Okay, things just got crazier. Charlie Munger essentially halved his Alibaba position. Is this the last straw? My inbox was essentially exploding, where everybody was DMing me, asking me whether I saw the recent filing of Daily Journal. Yes, I did. I saw it. I'll see you in the next video, but more importantly, now, jokes aside, I believe many of you who have entered into this Alibaba trade were somehow or another affected by Munger. And Charlie Munger himself, despite being such an old age at 98, he has been considered the GOAT of investing, which is greatest of all times. And in this case, him exiting his position in Alibaba really raised many eyebrows, and it essentially caused a huge wave of internet sensation. And I believe there are many debates from different sides of the camp trying to speculate into understanding what were his motivations and what was his thought process when he sold out of Alibaba. To give you the straight answer, to me, it doesn't mean anything because I didn't follow him into this trade. Sure, I think not trying to conceal my excitement or my happiness when I knew that Charlie Munger was also into this trade, because he essentially gave that stamp of approval, stating that Alibaba might be a pretty good investment opportunity. And likewise, many of the other cloners out there were also excited about this new investment opportunity. Because if you were to actually track the activities of Daily Journal, there essentially is no buys or sells since Q4 of 2014. So after such a long hiatus, Charlie Munger did his next move, which is to buy into Alibaba and doubled down again. And this time around, it essentially shocks the entire investment world when he essentially cut his position by half. So now, I'm neither the spokesperson for Charlie Munger nor Daily Journal, so whatever I say should be treated for entertainment purposes only. Besides, who am I to even judge? But wait, remind me again, why do we have to explain what Munger did? Shouldn't he be the one explaining? Anyways, I think there are merits into trying to speculate into understanding his entire thought process and his mental model, but please don't waste too much time on that. Funny enough, there have been a barrage of commentaries and theses surrounding why Munger made that move. I'm just going to simply summarize them and provide you with my own opinions. And I believe before this video, you have already clicked 10 other videos from other creators speaking about Charlie Munger exiting his Alibaba position. But don't forget to smash that like button for me as well. And on top of all these speculations and conspiracy theory, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do at the end of this video. So sit back and relax and grab your cup of coffee. So of course, there have been many schools of thought ranging from Charlie Munger essentially losing faith in the Alibaba or even the China story. Maybe Daily Journal got margin called. Maybe it was for tax loss harvesting, and the list goes on. So I'm going to try to break them down bit by bit and to explain to you what I think would be the most probable theory. So many people actually speculated that he might have converted half of his BABA position into its 9988 counterpart, essentially to the Hong Kong exchange itself. To me, I think it's quite unlikely that he did this Hong Kong conversion, because if he were to really wanted to convert his position, he should have converted everything. And because of this Hong Kong conversion, he doesn't need to declare it to the SEC because it's considered an overseas listing. He might as well just sold out his entire BABA position rather than just keep half of it on the balance sheet itself. So that's something that I don't really agree to. So on point number 2, people actually speculated that Daily Journal got margin called. So if you to look at the balance sheet of Daily Journal, so they currently have a marketable securities at fair value of common stocks at around 395 million, while its margin accounts borrowing sits at around $69 million. So if you were to do some simple math, Daily Journal's current leverage is around 1.2x, sitting at around 21.16%. So if I were to do a very bold speculation here, assuming that Charlie Munger's cost price or cost entry for Alibaba sits at around $140 to $150, assuming that even Alibaba goes to zero today, I don't think they're even at risk of being margin called. That's of course my own understanding of a margin account. That being said though, the devil is always in the details. We don't really know how many brokerages actually extended this margin account to Daily Journal. Are the allowable margin being split up into multiple brokerages? But I think being margin called has one of the least probability out of the entire list. So on point number 3, with regards to this idea about tax loss harvesting. So I believe to many Alibaba investors, tax loss harvesting is not really a new concept, because I believe many of you back holders also follow another super investor called Monesh Pabrai. So Monesh himself actually did tax loss harvesting back in November or December last year, where he sold out his Alibaba position to buy Prosus, which has a significant holding in Tencent, which he thinks and arguably have a better business model compared to Alibaba. So in this case, of course, this this scenario is definitely on the table. So we don't really know the inner workings behind Daily Journal. And on top of that, Daily Journal recently just crystallized a huge amount of profit. So his Baba investment can very well just offset some of his earnings. On point number 4, this idea of opportunity cost. So opportunity cost in very layman's sense just means that he found a better investment with a better risk-reward profile. But really, if you to consider it from Charlie Munger's perspective, he's quite a stubborn investor. So for him to take the loss and move on to another security, that particular company or that particular investment better have a hell of a risk-reward. But that being said, if you're to observe the entire market today, in this current valuation climate itself, I think if you're to exclude the entire basket of Chinese equities, there really isn't a lot of other opportunities elsewhere, especially in the US market itself. And on top of that, like I shared earlier, Munger essentially didn't make a move from 2015 until that Alibaba position. So you can really see that Munger is a disciplined investor. So I really look forward to what this new elusive opportunity is. But who knows, he might take the entire reasoning into his grave and nobody actually knows what's happening. Now, on point number 5, which is hugely championed by all the different Alibaba and China bears. Essentially, the story changed for Alibaba or for China. I think just to set the record straight, I think the story behind China has not changed. Particularly for Charlie Munger, he's a huge China bull, and he has been invested in China for quite some time via Li Lu, which manages Himalayan capital. So for those of you who don't know, Li Lu is considered the face of value investing in China. Now, moving on to the more concerning perspective. Has the story for Alibaba changed? Sure, there have been a lot of concerns surrounding the fundamentals of Alibaba. There might be some shift in terms of his assessment about his understanding about the company, but if you were to actually monitor how Charlie Munger expressed his opinions on China and Alibaba in the previous annual shareholders meeting of Daily Journal, it seems like he's still an extremely big bull, and there isn't really any change in terms of his fundamental thesis and the amount of confidence he projects behind the investments that he made. So no, I don't think that the story has changed for Alibaba or China from Munger's perspective. So then comes to the last point, which is the highly contentious point, which I personally am sitting in as well, which is there is a new change in terms of management decision, and there might be a change in terms of risk management for Daily Journal's portfolio. So for those of you who don't actually know, Charlie Munger actually stepped down from the chairman position of Daily Journal back in March. However, it was also publicly known that Munger will still be principally in charge of the securities portfolio. That being said though, losing his chairmanship position would probably also translate to him losing some sort of authority in expressing his opinion. But he's probably still quite well respected by all his colleagues and people working under him before. However, out of the long list of speculation, I think this so-called quote-unquote new management's decision in terms of risk management and selling out of the Alibaba position makes the most sense, at least to me. Now, after running through the whole host of different speculations and reasons or motivations on why Daily Journal cut out the Alibaba position, let me just remind you about what Monish said last year. There is only one reason why investors buy into a particular company or a particular security. The ultimate goal is to make money. However, there can be many reasons why someone sells. Sometimes people get too caught up with the different motivations or reasons on why people sell and think that, hey, this is a bad company. So that said, what am I going to do as an investor? So I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm probably going to flip-flop soon. So for those of you who have been following me, I did outline my thoughts in this video on why I stopped buying Alibaba since late last year. However, looking at how things have been progressing, and now even this entire headline of Munger selling out of Alibaba, I might actually start buying in again. And don't worry, by smashing the subscribe button and the like button, I'll inform you when I make my purchase again, and so you can look at my entire journey of flip-flopping. Wait, can you remind me again, why does it matter that Charlie Munger sold out of Alibaba?